Following a deeply troubled production, which Midnight's Edge has covered previously, see description for link, the release of Josh Trank's Fant 4 stick would prove no less controversial. In this video we will revisit the last marketing blitz prior to the premiere, the controversial release and abysmal reception of Fantastic Four, and the apparent brewing conflict between Josh Trank and Fox, and what might happen to the Fantastic Four movie rights going forward. In the weeks prior to release, Fox ramped up the marketing with more TV spots and increased circulation, more posters, as well as sending the cast out on a promotional tour. However, none of the new marketing material showed anything new, as they mostly recycled shots from the earlier trailers, and the cast seemed despondent and perhaps embarrassed in a series of cringe-worthy interviews.
For you, Jamie, you've obviously done performance capture, motion capture before. Was that something, could you have done this role without having had that experience? Did that help you sort of going in, knowing what this kind of thing, no pun intended, would entail?
Oh, come on. That was a pun, Josh.
It's hard to avoid the word thing in questions, by the way.
I'll try a little harder.
I think, darker compared to the first ones. Yes, I think just more realistic in the sense of reality. I think that's kind of what we did.
Would you rather work with 20 angry PAs or one angry director?
20
angry PAs. Really?
Yeah. They don't have much
it's like, all right.
power. The director you're kind of under his.
You're screwed.
Yeah.
You're screwed.
Yeah.
You're screwed.
Yeah.
You're screwed.
Yeah.
When the original tracking figures were released, the movie was estimated to open between $40 and $50 million at the US box office. Acceptable numbers for a movie said to have cost $120 million to produce, but still nothing to write home about. On July 28th, a little over 1 week prior to release, the world learned from New York senior editor Kyle Buchanan that the movie was embargoed until the day before release for online reviews, and the day of release for print reviews. Many took this to mean that Fox had no faith in the movie and were therefore hiding it as best they could. The first public screening of the movie took place on Thursday, July 30th in a VIP screening at the Cine Bistro in Atlanta, Georgia. Introduced by the cast and attended by, among others, celebrities local to Atlanta as well as friends of Michael B. Jordan, positive comments about the movie hit Twitter following the screening, but no proper reviews due to the embargo. When the BBC asked Kate Mara what she thought about the movie, she answered that she hadn't seen it yet, as she would rather see it with a, quote, real audience. Apparently the Atlanta audience did not reach that standard in her mind. Did she and the rest of the cast know what was coming, but would rather claim ignorance than lie in front of cameras? Simon Kinberg further foreshadowed what was coming when he described the movie as not a disaster in an Entertainment Weekly piece ironically aimed at defending the film on August 3rd. The embargo was lifted early, and the first batch of reviews of Fant 4 Stick hit following an advanced screening on August 4th. All were overwhelmingly negative. The next several batches of reviews only got worse. The box office analysts reduced their weekend estimates from between 40 to 50 million down to closer to 40 million, but few analysts expected the movie to outright flop due to poor reviews. A few weeks before the release of Fant 4 Stick, Fox had Bryan Singer tease a crossover between the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, although it hardly sounded like a commitment. To us at Midnight's Edge, it looked like a marketing ploy designed to lure in fans of the X-Men films. Perhaps fearing that the ever-worsening buzz surrounding Fant 4 Stick would spill over to the X-Men, writer Simon Kinberg and producer Hutch Parker shot down any possibility of any such crossover in a joint statement to the New York Daily News on August 4th. They exist in parallel universes. The Fantastic Four live in a world without mutants, and the X-Men live in a world without the Fantastic Four. Crossing them over would be challenging. While this statement may outwardly appear to refer to the creative hurdles, the challenging part of the quote may actually refer to getting Marvel's permission for such a crossover. It turns out that just a few days before the movie was released, Josh Trank had sent an email to select members of the cast and crew saying that he was proud of the film and that it was better than 99% of comic book movies ever made, to which an unnamed cast member replied, "I don't think so." After it was clear that the buzz surrounding the movie had turned poisonous and that the majority of reviews were as bad or worse than those for Batman and Robin and Catwoman, director Josh Trank changed his tune and took to Twitter again just 1 day before the movie opened for general release. Despite earlier having denied any and all behind-the-scenes issues, Trank now stated, "A year ago I had a fantastic version of this, and it would have received great reviews. You'll probably never see it. That's reality though." He soon deleted the tweet, but not before all news outlets had picked up on it. While this move by Trank was criticized by some as essentially driving another nail into the movie's coffin at the worst possible time, Collider partially came to Trank's defense. They alleged that Fox had challenged his choice of cast, changed the script, cut the budget, and removed 3 action scenes shortly before filming began, all of which contributed to Trank's much-debated breakdown on set. The Wrap published analyst claims that Trank's tweet might have cost the movie as much as $10 million in opening weekend gross, and that Trank potentially violated written agreements by speaking out the way he did, which could threaten his future career as a director. By the time the dust settled on Monday morning, Fant4stic was officially a flop, grossing only $26.2 million in its domestic opening weekend, coming in second place to Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, which was in its second week of release. With a cinema score rating of C-, the lowest for any comic book movie ever released, and a Rotten Tomatoes rating of only 9%, 8% as of the time of this recording, there was no chance of the movie having legs, and it dropped about 70% from the first to the second week domestically, an unusual and staggering decline for such a film. While the movie opened at number 1 in some international territories like the UK, those were victories with very limited success, as it opened far softer than the previous Fantastic Four movies, even unadjusted for a decade of inflation. The movie flopped worldwide, and by the time all is said and done, it might lose Fox upwards of $60 million. Adding insult to injury, both fans and moviegoers seem to take delight in the movie's misfortune. Fans of Marvel in general, and of the Fantastic Four in particular, had a field day mocking the unpopular creative choices, and that the most epic shots from the trailer were absent from the movie. They even began trolling Fox's social media campaigns. In an article published August 12th, The Hollywood Reporter added more detail that took the blame game to a new level. Production insiders, presumably from Fox, said that Trank's public disavowal of the film on Twitter had enraged Fox execs, and that Trank has lawyered up with Marty Singer, the famed Pitbull lawyer whose other clients include Bill Cosby, Charlie Sheen, and Bryan Singer, to whom attorney Marty Singer is not related. Trank's lawyering up appears to indicate that things could get ugly. The article further said that the situation was even worse than previously reported, and described Trank as something of a recluse on the set who isolated himself in his trailer. He even went as far as to build a black tent around his monitor. He would micromanage the actors, telling them when to breathe and when to blink, making their performances as flat as possible. Entertainment Weekly added more detail to the relationship between Trank and the actors, revealing that Trank had to fight against Fox tooth and nail to get Miles Teller cast as Mr. Fantastic. Interestingly, it was Trank and Teller who would later clash on the set, allegedly coming close to trading blows on one occasion. Kate Mara, on the other hand, was chosen by Fox and forced upon Trank. It's been anonymously alleged that he did not treat her well. The Hollywood Reporter also brought to light new information about the luxury accommodation that Trank and his dogs are said to have caused over $100,000 worth of damage to. The owner of the house, Martin Padil, moved to have Trank evicted following the damage. This then caused Trank to deface Padil's family pictures on the premises, which led Padil to engage Trank in a civil lawsuit. The Louisiana Sheriff's Department says the case was, quote, closed as a civil matter between landlord and tenant. The Hollywood Reporter's inside sources further claimed that Fox initially had faith in Trank and his vision, and by the time they saw things weren't working, it was too late to ditch him. Regarding the allegations that the reshoots ruined the movie, the insiders revealed that the movie didn't even have an ending after principal photography, which caused Simon Kinberg, Hutch Parker, and even Drew Goddard to scramble to come up with something. Furthermore, the extensive reshoots, during which Trank was present but allegedly neutralized by committee, were made more difficult by not all members of the cast being available at the same time, meaning they had to use body doubles and green screen to make the cast appear to be together on the screen at the same time. Somebody described as a crew member further stated that while Trank bears much of the fault of the film's problems, Fox should not escape the blame either, as the movie was ill-conceived, made without vision, and rushed into production so the rights wouldn't revert to Marvel. This person also stated, "Say what you will about Marvel, but they have a vision." Meanwhile, large swaths of fans continued to advocate louder and louder that the Fantastic Four rights revert back to Marvel Studios, even leading to a Change.org petition demanding that Fox let Marvel have their first family back. With Fant4stic now released, Fox has met the conditions for renewal of the Fantastic Four movie license, regardless of how the movie performed. Fox has now until a specified date in 2022, about 7 years from now, to start shooting another Fantastic Four movie, whether that be a sequel or yet another reboot. Only in the event that they fail to begin filming by then will the movie rights be forfeit and revert back to Marvel in 2023. This means that if Fox decides against making another Fantastic Four movie, Marvel can just sit back and relax. They'll have the movie rights back by 2023 without having to do or pay anything for them. But how likely is it that Fox will let the rights quietly revert? Will they take another stab at it just to deprive their corporate enemy Marvel of another asset? Or can some kind of mutually beneficial deal be reached which allows the rights to revert sooner? This is where we enter speculation territory, but we can certainly contemplate the different angles. In January of 2015, Badass Digest speculated on different contingency plans Fox might have in place for various levels of Fant 4-stick underperformance. They suggested that Fox would either do a do-over or attempt an X-Men team-up in case of a slight underperformance, but that Fox might not have a contingency plan for the event of a Pluto-Nash level disastrous flop, in which case letting the rights revert or striking a deal with Marvel would be the best course of action. While Fant 4-stick isn't quite a Pluto-Nash level disaster, it isn't too far off. The write-down of up to $60 million will hit Fox hard in a year where profits were already significantly reduced from the year before, and they have very little in the way of other surefire tentpole blockbusters to bail them out. Each new Fantastic Four movie made by Fox has been less successful than the previous one, and Fant 4-stick has arguably poisoned the brand to the point where Fox can no longer profit from it no matter what they do. As such, Fox shareholders might not approve of the studio wasting more money on the Fantastic Four, whether that be on a sequel or another reboot when the rights are about to expire. The still profitable Marvel brand under Fox control is the X-Men. In addition to their expanding X-Men cinematic universe, Fox has expressed interest in making an X-Men TV series as early as 2016. However, Fox can't make an X-Men TV series without Marvel's permission. Could it be that the Fantastic Four might be a bargaining chip in the negotiations over X-Men TV rights? As always, we'll keep a close eye on events and update you right here at Midnight's Edge. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit subscribe so you can catch all of our upcoming videos. For more podcasts, news, and reviews, check us out at midnightsedge.net and follow us on Twitter at Midnight's Edge. Also check out our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/midnightsedge.